Hi everyone, and welcome to Building a Personality-Based Business. I'm Kelly Tyler from Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors and coaches to build a business on your terms. And I'm really excited to be running this session because Ketan's a great person to be putting this event on, and I've seen some of the speakers already this morning. It's such a great event and I'm privileged to be asked to take part. Especially with the times that we're in at the moment, having a personality-based business is the way forward. So what I'm going to talk you through today is basically helping you understand the elements of a personality-based business, and then to fit into the theme of this summit, how to scale a business when it's based purely on you. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to make this is a masterclass, right? And I'm sure even from this morning, you're probably sitting here being overwhelmed with information. So I want to make this as interactive as possible. In where you're watching this, there's a little button above saying ask questions. Hit me with them throughout the session. I'll answer as many as I can in this next half an hour. And what I also want you to do is interact when I ask you questions. So let's get into it. This is some good news. We all need some good news at the moment, right? The good news is that people buy from people they trust. Now, this should be an incentive in itself to think, how can I make my business more personality based? Let me give you an example. If we think of big corporates, Google, right? If you think of Google, most people don't think of the personality, the people behind Google. Most of you might not have ever even heard of Larry Page and Sergey Brin, right? So who are they? They're the founders. Most people, when they think of Google, think of the functionality of what they can do as a search engine, which is different when I say the word virgin. When people think of the business virgin, lots of people instantly think of Richard Branson first. And then they think of the various services and products that he offers. And they have an opinion on Richard. They have either an alliance to or an aversion from, because it's based on his values, his style, his personality, his vision, his mission, which brings his company to life. So what we want to do in this session is actually be more Richard in a way. Bring your personality to your business so people buy you and then buy your services. Because really, where we are now, people need to be able to trust you. They need to be able to connect with you and build a relationship. You have that ability when you're a personality-based business to be flexible, to be approachable, not be a faceless corporate that people actually don't know, can they trust? Let's play a game. So I've put some people on the screen here and I've got some questions around this. I want you to instantly go, oh, how many can I name? How many of those people do I know instantly just from their profile picture? So just have a look at this, have a look at the people on the screen, and then potentially write down how many can you actually name. The next thing I want you to do is pick one of those people that you do know and that you're maybe drawn to. And write down, and you can put this in the ask us question bit at the top, write down 3 words, the first 3 words that come to your mind when you see that person. What do you instantly think about their personality, their style, their approach, what they're known for, what their key product is? So think of 3 words and put them in the ask the question button at the top. While you're doing this, because some people are going to be like, oh God, who are these people? I know that face, but I can't recognize them. I'm going to read them from left to right. Okay, so we've got Greta Thunberg at the top left. We've got Richard Branson. Then we've got J.K. Rowling, Brian Tracy, Gary V, or Gary Vaynerchuk, as some people would know him more, Deepak Chopra, Bob Proctor, Oprah Winfrey, Robert Kiyosaki, Louise Hay, Tony Robbins, and Les Brown. Okay, so again, how many did you get right? You can name 3. You like Oprah, she's authentic, commanding, and trustworthy. Brilliant, great. Put them in the comments. I'm going to keep these coming through. I know my lovely assistant here, Ellie, is going to help out and get these over to me. So we can see these keywords associated with people, the initial impression they make on you. Now, my last question on this slide. If your picture was up there, what would be the 3 words you would want people to say about you? The first 3 words that spring to mind about you and your business, because this is basically what you're known for and seen as out there. And I want to make sure that your impression, your marketing, your products, your personality is the impression you want to give to people. And tell me in the comments what this is. Tell me in the chat feature, what are these things that you want to be known for? Now, as I said to you, I want to talk about what makes the components of having a successfully owned personality-based business. And these are the areas that are the key areas, not all the areas, but this is a little checklist for you to work through. The first thing is thinking about is your story, your why, your purpose. This is what attracts your audience to you, makes you feel there's a connection, there's a value alignment, there's a, oh my God, I want to be on that bus, on that mission, on that journey with that person. That's where I want to go. And this is when you have a personality-based business, you can bring that story forward. Whether you have been your ideal client before and you want to say how you've overcome that, the techniques you've learned, how to make it faster, quicker, and less painful. And also the fact that they understand your big why. Where are you going? So many business owners I work with miss this out of their marketing, miss this part out of their about page on their website, or when they're speaking on stage and introducing. They're very functional in what they do, but they miss why they do it. And this is your connection piece with your audience. The other thing that is really important to take on board with a personality-based business is that to position yourself as an expert. Don't go running, don't go, oh my God, I don't like that status, I haven't earned the right yet, I haven't got all the qualifications, and you suffer from comparisonitis of all the other people out there. Expert status can come from 3 main components. 1, you have a wealth of experience in your field. You know what happens. You've actually just not done the theory, you've done the groundwork, got the t-shirt, all the scars, and you know what works and what doesn't. I use the example here a lot of the time of people who are new parents, and when they can't get their baby to sleep at night, they will listen to anyone who's got that practical experience of either wearing an amber necklace or leaving them cry or all these types of things. They want to know from people that have done it, because the textbooks didn't prepare them for what's the reality. So make sure when you're talking about your bio and how you've earned the right, that you talk about your experience. The second element is qualifications. There are some industries that you need to have specific qualifications, industry standard associations, to make sure that you're reputable and that people it's got credibility, they trust you. I'm not going to have neurosurgery from the guy down the pub who thinks he can do it with a little bit of, his tools in his shed. I need to make sure you've got the credibility and the qualifications as a neurosurgeon, you understand that. So make sure that you're not leaving that detail out, because sometimes in industries, especially professional industries, accountancy, legal professions, etc., this is so important that people make sure that they understand you've got that rubber stamp. And then the third one of being an expert is actually being a researcher. Some of you might have heard of Brené Brown, who basically made her mark as being a researcher in emotional intelligence. Now, what you can do is you can do your own research, you can write white papers, you can or be a curator of information and actually be the go-to place where your audience goes to find that information. You're that one-stop shop. So think, how can you actually position yourself as an expert and also potentially have your own methodology, your own framework, your own unique procedure that basically helps people go through how you work with them. Now, your brand, your values, and your style are a way of making that physical and that visual impression on people. So there's the consistency. People know what to expect from you. People align with you because you feel like their style. There are some people out there that go, oh, well, because I work with women, I'm going to make my website really floral and pastel-y. And for some women, that's a real turn-off. And that's fine, okay? You've got to be true to you and understand, who am I and who do I want to attract? And what are the values that I need to put there? What's the impression I want to give? And what's the style? If we go back to the slide before, and some of you might be aware of someone like Gary Vee. Now, his style is like Marmite, and I encourage you to be the same, okay? What I want you to think about is, with Gary, he swears a lot, he's in your face, he's no BS, and some people love that approach. And some people go, whoa, that's too much, and they walk out the room. So think about your personality, your style, and the impression you make, so that you can attract like-valued and like-minded people. Now, one of the things with a personality branded business is you need to be visible, okay? It's not something you can hide behind your corporate logo. So this means something we teach a lot in Speaker Insight is having a portfolio style business. Now, this means including speaking, writing, and coaching in your approach, in how you deliver your products, or just in your marketing style. I'm not saying you all have to become professional speakers, have best-selling books, and become qualified coaches, but I would love for your content to be repurposed in different ways, so that you can have a podcast as well as actually having blogs and Facebook Lives, etc. And also the fact that you might actually run some educational courses or group training or things around the subject matter that you're on, or around the products you offer. This allows you to tap into people's NLP styles, how they like to consume content, how they like to learn, how they like to interact. And it also means that you can be visible on a range of platforms, because you're actually having this portfolio style business. And I'll touch a little bit more about that on the end. Having that visibility then allows you to have a following. All those people that I put on that second slide, if you look at their social media profiles, if you look at their email database, if you knew how large they were, they've got a following. They've got people who are willing to listen to them. They know that they're an expert in their field. They know they like their style, and therefore that's their warm market that they build that relationship of trust with, they add value to all the time. So it's really important for you to go, how am I housing my tribe? How am I looking after them? How am I nurturing them? Is that Facebook groups? Is that membership sites? Is that daily emails on your database? Is that newsletters? What's the way of nurturing your tribe? And then the final thing that we will talk about in a second is having a product range, purely because in a product range, this will allow you to not hit capacity as either being a one-man band or even a team of like 5 to 10 people. When you have a range of products, it allows your reach to expand, the way that your customers interact with you expand, your price range of products to be a choice, and also the way that you deliver, so that you're not constantly swapping time for money. So let's have a look at this. Anyone that's ever worked with me or any of my business partners, and like Helena is who runs Speaker Insight with me, and you might know us from the Connection Hub, which is our Facebook group. We talk about avatar, I think, nearly every single day or in every single training we do, because it's the cornerstone of your business. Avatar is not the big blue people in the film. Avatar means ideal client avatar, who you love to work with as your end user, not the person that as soon as the phone rings and you pick it up and you go, oh my God, they're going to drain my energy and want stuff for free. And that's not your ideal avatar. The people that light you up, that you are like-minded, like-valued, can afford your products and services, do the work, buy everything you say that they need to buy, and just, you know, you really love working with them. Now, again, let me know in the ask a question section above, do put in there about, let me know if you are a speaker, author, or a coach, because I'm going to share one tip that I think a lot of people fail on in this, is when people are coaches and then maybe also professional speakers, they actually have too many avatars on one website. So I highly encourage any of you watching here, whatever industry you're in, to build a website around what your services are. And there are lots of speakers around marketing at this summit. But be really clear on who the purchaser is, who the end user is for the person going on that website. If you're a coach, for example, you want to basically have the end user on your website of the person who's going to buy the coaching services. So your copy on there needs to talk about their pains, their problems, and also the aspirations of where they want to get to as a coach. And it's really important that you map out that user journey of how you can help them go on that process with you. And in there, you probably will want video testimonials of people that have worked with you before, saying, you know, what results they've got and how great you are and the way that you work with them. You probably want logos of past clients that people might recognize if they're industries that give you credibility. And you also want to make sure that you're saying, these are the results that you get from working with me as a coach. And so they're the ways that you can also illustrate your credibility, the awards you've won, the industry accreditation standard, the qualifications I said, any PR coverage, all these things make that end user, for someone who's a coach, to go, yeah, I want to use that person's services. I want to work with them as a coach. That's completely different avatar for people who then want speaking engagements, because the people that book you as a speaker are not the people that book you as a coach. These people are L&D directors, events coordinators. They're people in corporations or events who basically want different information to this. They want to see your keynote topics, your fees, your speaker show reel, which is different to a testimonial client video. They want to see you on stages. They want to basically see your speaker brochure. They want all the speaker one sheets so they can see everything here. And that copy and that website has a different feel to this website. So please don't feel that you should be housing all your avatars on one website or even one marketing funnel. We need to make sure that you know your avatar really well, inside and out, not just the demographics. Oh, I work with females 35 to 60. I want to know the psychographics. I want to know inside their head. We get feedback all the time about saying, how did you know I was thinking that? I was Googling that last night. I asked my friend down the pub that the other day. You're asking and saying the questions that I'm asking myself. How do you know what I'm thinking? How do you know what my needs are? Because we have gone into so much depth about getting to know our avatar through market research and listening that we've built that relationship with them. So 3 ways to scale, because once you've got this business and you've got this following and you've got this presence, then you're going to be busy in whatever you do, whatever business you run. And so we need to make sure that you can scale without burning out and without breaking down, right? And under all the pressure. So I'm going to talk about these 3 things in a bit of detail. Build digital products, right? That allows you to stop swapping time for money, because once they're built, they're out there working for you, creating that reoccurring or residual income. Create intellectual property that other people can license and use, okay? So I'll talk about an example of that as well. Intellectual property of that, what I was going back to on one of the slides about your uniqueness, your methodology, your process, the way you do something. And then the third one is actually franchising or creating accredited training so that other people can use that methodology under your brand, okay? So the first one, I don't think I need to teach you that in this day and age, since March, since COVID, digital is even more essential than it's ever been. If you just look at a couple of these stats, right? Udemy is a platform very well known for hosting online courses and online training. And the CEO said that, look at this, 22 million enrollments happened in March of this year compared to just 6 million the year before. That massive spread of people going, I need to learn stuff online, I need to learn digitally, which should give you an indication that I want you to have something that's digital that people can educate and learn and learn from you on as an expert. And if you've got questions on what that might be, then again, ask me the questions. Ellie will put them in the chat for me. I think we've all suffered from Zoomanitis, right? Where we basically just sat there in those little boxes, and you might be experiencing a little bit of that over the summit, but this is well worth it because you're getting the information. But look at how many enrollments have increased. 22 million enrollments in March this year compared to 6 million in February. Very similar stats to Udemy. Because people are going, okay, I need to use Zoom to have meetings, to run trainings, to do webinars, to, all these types of things that would normally happen in person. So when you have a digital offering, whether that be online courses, online coaching, membership sites, some form of education in this way of actually swapping time for money, it gives your audience and your customers choice. A lot of these times the digital products are cheaper than working with you on a one-to-one basis. So again, the prices could be more accessible for people who haven't got the most amount of money, or just don't know if they want to take that risk of spending thousands of pounds with you. It also helps for people that are wanting to learn in their way. So people that don't want to travel to training because they've got dependencies like children, etc., but they really want to be part of your events, they can still attend through things like this. I mean, the impact that Ketton's had worldwide of people coming to this summit wouldn't have been possible if we were holding it live in a venue. So it basically gives your customer choice on how they consume and also the price point. And the main thing is for you for capacity issues. We encourage a lot of the people that we work with to have at least 60% of their income coming through from digital resources, because that basically gives you the stability, the predictability of what's going to be selling, and you can take holidays, right? You can take 3 months off and you've still got 60% of your income coming in because you've got marketing funnels feeding those digital sales. The second thing which I said about was about creating intellectual property. Now, some of you might be aware of somebody called Stephen Covey, and who has 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's his intellectual property, right? He's basically had a book about it, very successful book, and it's outlived him. Like, this framework, his methodology has outlived him to pass on to his son, who now basically has licensed trainers who teach this methodology in their own coaching practices. So his methodology is probably more famous than him, and it lives on without him because other people are using it. So this is where you can license out your information to other people to support them and to support your own brand. Then we've also got accredited training, which is slightly different. And some of you might be familiar with this gentleman here called Brad Sugars, who is the founder of Action Coach. Now, he has a different model because people who wanted to be coaches but weren't professionally trained as coaches, or wanted how do I run my coach business? How do I actually get leads? How do I do this? He created a model that basically said, come and operate as an action coach, right? Come and learn and basically be part of this franchise model of me teaching you how to run your business as a coach. And what that's allowed Brad to do really is actually be much more of an ambassador for his brand, much more of somebody that allows him to just show up and talk on stages, talk about the vision of his company, talk about the changes and trends in the coaching industry, and then recruit people from the audience to say, come and learn more about being an action coach himself. So Brad doesn't actually do the coaching. He's the ambassador for his brand, where he does a lot of the PR, the speaking, the raising the awareness of the brand, while the coaches do the work. And then Brad earns the money from them becoming franchisees of his company and paying for that, paying for their methodology, paying for understanding how to run the business. So what we're talking here about, these 3 areas of how to run your business and without you scaling, what I want you to think about is what could be something you could do in your business, no matter how early on or how late on you currently are in your business. What methodologies have you got in place to allow you to scale? to allow it to not just be, I've only got 24 hours in the day, there's only me, and I've only got this amount of time. So therefore you can go, yes, but we are expanding and I'm offering this, which is bringing me income without me having to physically show up. I think the majority of you, if you're questioning which place to go, is to think digital. That's the way that most of you can pivot, can adapt, and can basically enhance your product range. And in what we do in Speaker Insight is we will give you lots of training, lots of it for free, online courses, teaching you how to create membership sites, online courses, online coaching programs, all these various different things to help you raise your profile. And even if you are a speaker, you need to think about how to become much more of a digital speaker these days. Doing a keynote is not the same as it used to be. You need to learn tech, you need to learn interactive skills, you need to learn icebreakers online, all these various things that help you become the person that's adaptable to these changes, whether it's to create an additional stream of income or whether it's to adapt your style so that you can continue working while these online events and these stages are more important than physical events. And believe me, one of my other companies, Stellar Speakers, where I manage professional speakers, the hybrid event is the way that it looks like our industry is going forward. The fact that people are still going, but I like the fact that I could join from my living room and I didn't have to travel to California to see this person speak. So I believe if you are an aspiring or current professional speaker or public speaker, that the digital side of learning how to speak digitally is such an important skill to master. And again, if you want advice on this, then please do connect. I'm going to put that up actually, because these are the groups. So I've got my Facebook group, which has got, at the moment about 8,500 members in there, where they're all speakers, authors and coaches, or people who support them. So we put you in touch with publishers or speaker agents or website designers. We also basically have speaking opportunities in there, so you can see when speaking gigs come up that you can apply for, or podcast interviews, PR opportunities. And Helena and myself, that's my business partner there, we run weekly training in there every week, every Tuesday at 1, for you to come and learn how to run a business as a speaker, author or coach. And what I want to go back to here, when I was talking about the portfolio style business, these are the ways that you could actually start monetizing or using speaking, writing and coaching in your business. No matter if you're not a speaker, author or coach, I would highly encourage you to look at this list and go, I never thought I could use my voice in that way. I never thought that I could actually teach something in that way. And therefore what I would suggest is I'll have these slides as a PDF, and I'll add them to the exhibitor booth at the end. So go to Speaker Insight exhibitor booth, and I'll put these PDF slides down for you so you can have all this information on your own laptop. And when you look at this slide, tick off what do you currently do as your marketing, as your social, or as a product range, and then have a circle on some of the ones that you want to develop. And then come into the Connection Hub and ask Helena and I, how do I do this? How do I create an audiobook? How do I build an app? How do I start coaching programs? And we will support you and handhold you through that to understand the product development, but also then the business management that goes behind managing those systems. It's really important you start to diversify, not just saying, this is my only one marketing channel, this is my only one product, because I think that's where people have fallen down since COVID. Because if your marketing funnel was something physical, like networking events where you went to, and that's been cut off, you've been just cut off your lifeline to your product sales. Or if you were physically having to run events and you weren't able to do that anymore, you've got nothing to sell if you don't diversify and run summits like this online. So my real call to action for you is to think, how can I be more visible as a personality behind my business? Whether you've named your business after you or not, that's not a problem. You can still be like Virgin and be a very well-known figure and founder with a clear vision and mission behind why you do what you do. but then make sure that you can scale without suffocating yourself when you get really popular and you want to basically have a bit of time off. Have you got the product range to help you diversify and still earn income when you're not swapping time for money? So that's the end of my presentation. Please do check out the exhibitor booth. We've got lots of goodies in there, and do come and ask any questions in the Connection Hub.